quest stuff is very good, and art design is quite bad, and the reason is because it is not cool. And to be cool, to boil it down, is it needs to be about heroes having epic moments that people understand, and villains having epic moments that people understand, and those two facing off each other. Because if you ask
characters you root for going through emotional journeys, all wrapped up in that. Basically, Top Gun Maverick, god damn it.
Yeah, so if you ask...
Annoyingly well-constructed movie.
Yeah, if you ask almost anyone who's been playing World of Warcraft for a long time what the coolest moment is, or what the coolest thing, or what excited them about it, they will usually point to a cinematic, or they will point to something that was like extremely like, oh my god, it's the big moments. And this is why I have a lot of weight in this, because I really, really like, if I could have my ideal job, I would be cool moment researcher, where I would be entirely sitting down and going, I am going to get, you know that meme of the dude holding up the thing and it's like, finally, you know, we've found this, we've distilled this. I would be distilling the essence of...
You could be the government minister for Kino studies.
Basically, where it is just that I just need, that I need to find out the distilled essence of the thing that makes you go, oh my, holy shit. And for a lot of players back in the day, it would have been back in the very early day.
People saying Wrathgate.
Yeah. It would have been Wrathgate, where
Mop Siege of Orgrimmar.
Big thing happened. Mop Siege of Orgrimmar. I saw someone say Times Change. Yep, Times Change was an incredibly delivered. That whole cinematic was unbelievable.
Varian being disenchanted. Big moment.
Yeah,
that was fucking painful looking death.
Sure was.
Like, killing a main character is one of the real hard things to do.
Yeah.
And they sent Varian off perfectly, like...
Yeah, the perfect kinologist and finally kinosium. That's it. I'm gonna put that on my Twitter, man. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so I think for now, I'm kind of annoyed people haven't said it, but a couple people did. The Lich King fight, right? I'm a little biased because I like the light in Warcraft, always have, but Tyrion shouting, well, actually didn't even shout, he more or less whispered, you know, granted me one final blessing and shatters Frostmourne, and you just go, yeah, we were dead. We lost that fight. But Tyrion being old man who's cool as just went, no, this is not happening. I don't care that none of this makes sense. I don't care this is a Deus Ex Machina from the light. I don't care that this is like just basically an ass-pull. And this is where I talk about shonen anime for 30 seconds. All of that is, it's ass-pulls. It is how cool can you make an ass-pull. There was
but it was an ass pull that was like a well-prepped colonoscopy. I don't know why this is how I'm going, but you said ass pull. Yeah. Him doing the Deus Ex Machina, there's either two ways you do it. You do it like you're Promare and you just have your robot be called Deus Ex Machina, and everyone gets it. Or you have the light be woven through that whole expansion so that when he finally calls on it, it actually makes sense. And it's like, yeah, it's a bit of an ass pull, but look at his character and everything. Yeah, I can see this working, especially with how we know light works.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could look, well, logically that's an ass pull because it's kind of out of nowhere. But you look at anything Gynax did when they were Gynax, or before they became Trigger, and then all the stuff they've done as Trigger. Or because I had a friend over and we were watching I don't know why, but it was like one of the episode 19 in the first season of Demon Slayer, and it is like UFO Table have this incredible ability to use editing, pacing, music, and all their visuals to make something that is unbelievably an ass-pull. Complete and utter, the protagonist should have lost, but they didn't. And you don't care because you're like, oh my, that was like, this should be studied in the fucking Kinosium. This should be studied. Kinologists everywhere watching this back going, exactly why is this so cool? And yeah, it was extremely hype. It was unbelievably hype. It was a fucking incredible. We were just watching it like 3 times over going, it's at this point you go, yes. And that's the stuff they need to bring back again. That's the stuff where they need to go, okay, how can we study the best parts of shonen anime? How can we Google search or YouTube search Demon Slayer, click the top link and do that? How can we do that? And that's what they like ultimately are missing from the game and this is where to a little bit of, how do I put it? You know the way there's Au Garrosh who's Lightbound? Imagine for a second, Yrel is a villain who believes that she's a hero because she fully believes she's a hero because she's Yrel, Lightbound. Light Mother, doing the right thing, of course. How do you play that? Yeah, how do you play that against Garrosh, who, and I think about this for a second. What's our Garrosh's story? He was supposed to be a hero. His entire life was to be a hero like his father. And he basically had, like, all that expectation was on his shoulders. And he lived every second of his life not really sure he could be a hero, but trying to be anyway. And ultimately thought he was, right until the point he was being a villain. And you could argue that was old god corruption, but it clearly wasn't. Because he says in the Shadowlands, the only good part of that expansion, he would do it all again. Which is to say that saved that character incredibly, and whoever did that needs a fucking medal. They don't need a raise, they need a house straight up and a medal, honestly.
Yeah. Fuck the audience, I did everything right.
Yeah, exactly, perfect. But I think that the AU Garrosh then is a villain who is forced into being a villain. Probably doesn't really believe he's a hero because it's lightbound. Likely
playing all the doubts inherent in that character in like probably a very successful way.
So you imagine a world where AU Garrosh has his moment of breaking free from Yrel's control, and then ultimately, being one of the key players there, and you can see that happen, and you go, "Oh my god, that has potential to be a moment in Warcraft that people will remember forever if they know how to do it right. If they spend the next couple years honing how to do something really, really goddamn cool. And they have all the potential for cool in this expansion as well. With Chromie, with Morchi, with the Emerald Dream, with the tree, with Tyrande chilling and not being very kind of there. But there's so much opportunity for it again. They just have to actually pull the trigger and go.
If they mess up the Night Elves, then they'll find out that the Canosium also has a paramilitary wing. It is led by Matt. Good super chat from P Biggs. P Biggs, that's better, who supered and said, Mop to Legion was more or less peak narrative and voice acting in modern WoW. Settings every bit as good as ever, but the dialogue in Dragonflight makes me squirm. Yeah, the dialogue does just feel that little bit forced, that little bit artificial, but with, I think, the voice actors generally putting quite a lot of weight into their words. I think the voice actors are really saving it there, especially with a lot of these Black Dragon, Emberthal things, but I think that, they're a little bit stilted. I guess we would kind of think that way. We are, even as a studio, very dialogue driven. Our writers are from theater. They write anyway.
Yeah, I think the important part of dialogue is to show, don't tell using words. People use dialogue to tell instead of to show.
And when you bring up Mop, I just think Mop is such a great example of macro narrative design.
5.4 trailer.
Because,
oh my god.
Everything with the Pandaren, the Sha, the Mogu, Garrosh, they're all thematically intertwined fantastically. They're able to have the main plot beats of patch 5.1 pull off successfully a political thriller story with set pieces like the Purge of Dalaran that to a WoW player will be so much more meaningful than any of the stuff we've got recently. And all of that just propels fantastically into the Siege of Orkbar that wraps all of those elements up in a bow. Really incredibly, even to the point where you have a faction in the Claxi that you do a full reputation for, get Exalted Rep in, but they're the penultimate boss of the raid, right? The way that Mop, for the people who actually stuck through the whole journey, came off so strong is a humongous win in macro narrative design because all those elements were so well tied together in a way that 10-1 felt a bit fragmented and sloppy.